Good morning, everyone. Tina Spalding Trance channel here for our daily Course in Miracles lesson together. Thank you for joining me again today. Today we are doing lesson number 152. The power of decision is my own. No one can suffer loss unless it be his own decision. No one suffers pain except his choice elects this state for him. No one can grieve, nor fear, nor think him sick unless these are the outcomes that he wants. And no one dies without his consent. Nothing occurs but represents your wish, and nothing is omitted that you choose. Here is your world, complete in all details. Here it is its whole reality for you, and it is only here salvation is. You may believe that this position is extreme and too inclusive to be true. Yet can truth have exceptions? If you have the gift of everything, can loss be real? Can pain be part of peace, or grief of joy? Can fear and sickness enter in a mind where love and perfect holiness abide? Truth must be all-inclusive, if it be the truth at all. Accept no opposites and no exceptions, for to do so is to contradict the truth entirely. Salvation is the recognition that truth is true and nothing else is true. This you have heard before, but may not yet accept both parts of it. Without the first, the second has no meaning. But without the second, is the first no longer true. Truth cannot have an opposite. This cannot be too often said and thought about, for if what is not true is true as well as what is true, then part of truth is false, and truth has lost its meaning. Nothing but the truth is true, and what is false is false. This is the simplest of distinctions, yet the most obscure, but not because it is a difficult distinction to perceive. It is concealed behind a vast array of choices that do not appear to be entirely your own. And thus the truth appears to have some aspects that belie consistency, but do not seem to be but contradictions introduced by you. As God created you, you must remain unchangeable, with transitory states by definition false, and that includes all shifts in feeling, alterations in conditions of the body and the mind, in all awareness and in all response. This is the all-inclusiveness which sets the truth apart from falsehood, and the false kept separate from the truth as what it is. Is it not strange that you believe to think you made the world you see as arrogance? God made it not. Of this you can be sure. What can he know of the ephemeral, the sinful and the guilty, the afraid, the suffering and lonely, and the mind that lives within a body that must die? You but accuse him of insanity to think he made a world where such things seem to have reality. He is not mad, yet only madness makes a world like this. To think that God made chaos contradicts his will, invented opposites to truth, and suffers death to triumph over life. All this is arrogance. Humility would see at once these things are not of him. And can you see what God created not? To think you can is merely to believe you can perceive what God willed not to be. And what could be more arrogant than this? Let us today be truly humble and accept what we have made as what it is. The power of decision is our own. Decide but to accept your rightful place as co-creator of the universe, and all you think you made will disappear. What rises to awareness then will be all that there ever was, eternally as it is now, and it will take the place of self-deceptions made but to usurp the altar to the Father and the Son. Today we practice true humility, abandoning the false pretense by which ego seeks to prove it arrogant. Only the ego can be arrogant. Truth is humble in acknowledging its mightiness, its changelessness, and its eternal wholeness, all encompassing God's perfect gift to his beloved Son. We lay aside the arrogance which says that we are sinners, guilty and afraid, ashamed of what we are, and lift our hearts in true humility instead to him who has created us, immaculate like to himself in power and in love. The power of decision is our own, and we accept of him that which we are and humbly recognize the Son of God. To recognize God's Son implies as well that all self-concepts have been laid aside and recognized as false. Their arrogance has been perceived, and in humility the radiance of God's Son, his gentleness, his perfect sinlessness, his Father's love, his right to heaven and release from hell, are joyously accepted as our own. Now do we join in glad acknowledgement that lies are false and only truth is true. We think of truth alone as we arise and spend 5 minutes practicing its ways, encouraging our frightened minds with this. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. Then will we wait in silence, giving up all self-deceptions as we humbly ask ourselves that he reveal himself to us, and he who never left will come again to our awareness, grateful to restore his home to God as it was meant to be. In patience we wait for him throughout the day and hourly invite him with the words with which the day began, concluding it with this same invitation to yourself. God's voice will answer, for he speaks for you and for your Father. He will substitute the peace of God for all your frantic thoughts, the truth of God for self-deceptions, and God's Son for your illusions of yourself. And that is our lesson for today. The power of decision is my own. Lesson number 152. Let's see what Jesus has to say today. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. And this is a very, very powerful lesson indeed, is it not? To accept that it is the collective and individual desires of all of you that have created this chaotic world rather than God. God did not create this world that you see. This is a world of separation. The default setting here is fear. The default setting here is isolation and separation. That's why many of you are in so much pain. And it is why many of you feel abandoned by God. But it is a world of projection, which means that you believe God has abandoned you. But in truth, you have abandoned God. That is what projection is. You accuse others of what you have done yourself. And so it is with a humble heart that we accept this teaching, that we have created the chaos, we have created the pain, and we have created the suffering. Any of you that have been doing this Course in Miracles for a while, some of you are repeating these lessons, have come to see that as you practice these teachings, the suffering in your mind decreases because you were causing it. And as the suffering in your mind decreases, your frequency goes up. You become a more loving being. And the frequency that you emit, for you are also emitting a frequency, becomes more loving to reflect the forgiveness work and the education that you have accomplished. And that frequency then begins to attract things like itself unto itself. And this is why you get the phrase misery loves company, because it is true. Miserable people hang out together. Violent people hang out together. Loving people hang out together. But the decision is yours. Do you believe that your thoughts are secret? Do you believe that your beliefs have no power? You are made in the image of God. You have the ability to bring into being whatever it is that you focus on. And it does not mean what your social face says. It means, what are you focusing on inside your mind, inside your heart? Are you living life fully? Are you living a life that is in accord with God's will for you, which means it makes you happy? If you are living a miserable life, it is because you have made a decision to live a miserable life. And today we want you to make new decisions. We want you to step up your game. We want you to lift your head up high. We want you to love whatever around you is lovable. And instead of heaping criticism and judgment on yourself and the world, look on yourself with love and appreciation as God looks upon you. Look on the world with love and appreciation for all of the things that are working out there. It is the same as when your body goes wrong. You say, oh, my ankle hurts, that's all I can think about. But there are a million other things your body is doing perfectly. Do you ever thank it for that? Do you ever give it kudos for just getting you around? It is often a deep and dark sickness that makes you appreciate your health. But today, the decision is yours. Are you going to look at the world through grey tinted lenses, or are you going to look at the world through the eyes of love and appreciation, which are, after all, the eyes of forgiveness? Look upon the world with forgiving eyes. Look upon your brothers and sisters with forgiving eyes, and know that they are as confused as you, that they too have been mistreated and mistaught, and that they know not what they do. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I will see you again tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.